We all know it's relatively easy to make money in GTA 5 online, but here in 2025, I wanted to see how much money I could make in just one day. So that's why in today's video, I'm going to be grinding all of the best ways I know how to make money in GTA 5 online in 2025. So sit back, relax, and let's see how much money I can make in just one day. So the first thing we're going to be doing is going into our nightclub and collecting the money from the wall safe, which this time is going to be $150,000. So essentially, we're starting off this challenge with a free $150,000, so can't complain about that too much. And as you can see, we're starting off with $3 million, so that is going to be our starting point for this video. And before we leave the nightclub, we want to make sure our popularity is all maxed out so that our resources are going up as quickly as possible. So we went ahead and bought that extra DJ, and now we're going to go ahead and transition over to our bunker. Now, pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just going to all of my businesses that I own. It doesn't really matter how many you own. I would just go to every single business you own, whether it's the nightclub, the bunker, the acid lab. We're going to be getting into all of those at the beginning of this video, just so that we can make sure they're all supplied as much as possible. I believe throughout this video, I had to supply my bunker at least twice, maybe 3 times, but it's going to be worth it in the end because we're going to have a bunch of sell missions to do to really get our money up in just one day. So as you can see, after we refilled the bunker, we're going to be going over to our acid lab, hitting up our boy Mutt, and we're going to go ahead and buy supplies from him. And while we're here at the acid lab, since we can do this once a day, we're going to go ahead and boost our acid production. If you don't know, the acid lab, it's also probably top 2 passive businesses in the game, right behind the nightclub in terms of how much money you can make per hour. But now that we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and head over to our oppressor. And now that we have all of our passive businesses set up, for the most part, there are a couple that I don't own, but those are just the 3 that I decided to do for this video. We're going to be heading over to the bail office. Now, this is another thing I do pretty much every single time I log on to GTA 5 online. When it's a new day, I go into the bail office and I'm going to be able to do a most wanted contract, and that's going to get $100,000 every single time. If you don't have a bail office, it's a really solid business. A lot of people don't really talk about it too much because there's really not much to it, but being able to do this most wanted contract once a day for $100,000, I personally feel like it makes the bail office a worthy business to have in your arsenal. And the missions are not hard at all to do. There's a couple different ones that you can get. For this one specifically, you just have to hack into this building and then find some servers, hack those servers, and then you'll locate the most wanted contract. But as you can see right here, we're hopping in here. You just got to take out some guards by any means necessary. Do whatever you got to do in any goofy way possible. But as you can see, it's pretty simple. The guards aren't anything crazy. They're just some basic security guards that you can take out with ease. And then you'll locate the server room, hack into there as well, and then we can go ahead and start finding that most wanted contract. And like I said, these really only take about 5, maybe 10 minutes to do, depending on which one you get. But this hack is a little annoying if you've never done it before, but you pretty much just have to figure out which one matches with which, and then the hack is complete. Pretty simple, like I said. And then we can go ahead and move on to the LS car meet, where we have to go ahead and locate the guy that we're looking for. You pretty much just have to join a race that the most wanted target is in, and then you'll kind of crash into him, and then you'll get into a little high-speed chase. It's actually a fun little mission. For only being a 5 to 10 minute mission, it's kind of fun, honestly. So once we go ahead and locate him, we have to damage his vehicle, and then we can go ahead and take out his little guys, and then we'll take out him as well by shooting his hand right there. And you see, now we can go ahead and secure Mr. Omar, take him over to our bail office, and just like that, we've made $100,000 in just about 5 to 10 minutes. The other missions are honestly a little shorter if I remember correctly, but there are other things that you can do within the bail office. Like I said, there's other contracts you can do. I personally think it's worth it just to do the most wanted contract every single day, but that's up to you. Whatever you want to do, you can go ahead and utilize the bail office however you want to do. And as you can see, it's processing, and it'll take a couple of minutes for it to process if you don't have any other agents. But that's it for the bail office for now. We're going to go ahead and head into our garment factory now. And this is going to be similar to the bail office, where every single time I get onto GTA 5 online, I usually do a Garment Factory FIB file mission, and especially if it's a brand new week. So for instance, this is the first time I was logging on this week, so I went ahead and started up one of the FIB files, and it specifically was a priority file, which, if you don't know, can get you $300,000 every single time you do one, and it's going to be available once a week within the Garment Factory. There are other files you can do for, I believe, around $100,000 to $200,000, so those are there, but I really like to utilize the priority file because, like I said, once a week you get $300,000, and it should really only take you around 30 to 45 minutes to get these missions done. There's going to be 4 in every single FIB file, so you see we've already completed the first one, and these are really nice because you can just set them up on your phone on the go. You just pull up the little app, and then you can go ahead and start the next setup mission. And especially if you have an Oppressor Mark II, this makes these missions that much easier. So if you don't somehow have an Oppressor Mark II in 2025, I would definitely recommend checking out my video I have on my channel that shows you how to start from a level 1 to get all the way up to an Oppressor Mark II, and doing it fairly quickly. So as you can see, we're just running through these missions, pretty simple, taking out the guards that we have to take out. For this part of the mission, we just had to break into this warehouse and locate the thermal charges that we're looking for, so that we can later down the line, we're going to be blowing up some stuff, you know, a classic GTA 5 mission. And now that we're done with that, we just have to go deliver the charges to our Garment Factory, and then we can go ahead and move on to the next setup mission. So for the next setup mission here, again, we just hop on our phone to the Darnell app and we go ahead and start up the next mission. This one, again, pretty simple. There's really not much to it. We just have to locate the malware, do a little hack, and then once we do that hack, we'll be able to steal the malware. Then you got to do a little chase down this agent, and then once you take him out, we can go ahead and take a picture of his body. We got to go ahead, give them proof that we taken him out, and now we can go ahead and head back to our Garment Factory. As you can see, we finally got our $100,000 from collecting Omar in our bail office, and now that we got all of those 3 setup missions done, we can go ahead and start to complete the final mission for this FIB file. And like I said, all of these setup missions and everything, it may seem like a little bit much to be done in 30 to 45 minutes, but honestly, it's really not. These missions are very, very simple to do. You see, for this last one, we just got to destroy the gas pumps with our little RC car that we set up earlier, that we stashed away. We can go ahead and detonate that. I don't know if you're supposed to blow up the RC car with it, but either way, it worked out, so we're not complaining about it too much. We can go ahead and plug in that malware device that we got recently, break this little code right here. It's a little bit annoying to do this, I won't lie, if you don't know the letters and the words that you're supposed to put there, but if you're a smart enough cookie, I think you'll be able to figure out, and I think most of you are, so I think you'll be all good and dandy. You shouldn't have to worry about it too much. And you see, once we finish that last mission, we've completed the FIB file and got our free $300,000. So now it is time to get into the big bucks, time to start making some actual big cash in this video. And the first way we're going to do that is the Cayo Perico heist. I personally find this still the best way to make money very, very quickly here in GTA 5 Online, even with the big cooldowns and everything. If you're going to be on for a full day, you got to knock out at least 1 or 2 Cayo Perico heists. It just has to be done if you want to make as much money as possible. As you can see, for our loot, we ended up getting the bearer bonds, which is not great. Hoping for that pink diamond, but unfortunately, we were not able to do so. And our secondary loot was only some cash. So we didn't get the best loot for the Cayo, but we still should be able to make around $1 million once we're done with this heist and everything. So I didn't want to show you all of the setup missions and everything like that, because you've probably seen people set up a Cayo Perico heist a million times. And if for some reason you don't even know what this heist is, I have a video on my channel. I would definitely go ahead and check that out if you want to learn all about the Cayo Perico heist, the best ways to do it and everything. You see, I almost sell right here. I miss all of my shots on that little guard, but luckily he didn't shoot back, so we're all good to go. We can go ahead and steal the bearer bonds and have around $1 million. And we're also looking to get the elite challenge done as well, so we can get an extra couple, I think $100,000, $200,000. So definitely want to make sure we get that elite challenge done. And luckily, no glitches or anything. Nobody spots us through a wall, and we're going to go ahead and escape out of here and collect that $1.1 million in just about 60 minutes. So we're at around 2 hours so far of grinding, and we're already up around, I think, $1.5 million with the missions and everything we've done so far. You see, we got the elite challenge done for the Kaio, and we make little less than $1.1 million. So at this point, we're at about $4.4 million in the bank. So that's going to bring the tracker up to $1.4 million in total revenue so far. And now that we're done with Kaio, we have around 2.5 hours to wait until we can do another one. So I decided to go ahead and hit up the HSW time trial. Now, if you somehow don't know what the HSW time trial is, you have to have an HSW vehicle in order to do this time trial. But basically, you just find it on your map and you can do it once a week. There are a couple different races that they give out each and every week, but all of them are relatively easy. And if you want to know how to get a free HSW time trial vehicle, I do have a video on my channel of how you can get that done. But as you can see, we got a free $253,000 in just under 4 minutes. And there are a couple other time trials you can do every single week. I personally don't think they're really worth it, but you will get an extra about $50,000 if you want to go ahead and knock those out. I decided not to, but the option is there for you if you want to go ahead and complete those time trials. But now I'm going to go ahead and set my spawn location to the Mackenzie Field hangar. That way we can fast travel right on over there. And now we're going to go ahead and complete our second big heist, and that's going to be the Titan job, aka the Oscar Guzman Flies Again missions. Now, I do run these all on hard mode because I have done them before. And if you've never done this, this is actually a relatively new heist in the game. They just added it a couple months ago. So here in 2025, it's easily a top 3 way to make money solo. So if you've never done these missions before or this heist overall, I would definitely recommend getting the Mackenzie Field hangar. I think it's only around $1.5 million. So like I said, if you don't have the Mackenzie Field hangar, I would definitely look into getting it because it's a really solid way to make money, especially solo here in 2025, because every single hour it takes around an hour to get all of the missions done and then complete the finale. But once you get all the setup missions done and the finale, you're going to be getting $750,000. So you see, we're setting up the Titan job right here. Again, it's going to be on hard mode. If you don't do it on hard mode, you only get 500,000. So I would definitely recommend, if you've never done this before, do it first on normal mode, figure out how it works. All of the missions are relatively easy to do. The last one's kind of annoying, but once you get it down, it really should only take you an hour to get all the setup missions done and the finale. And like I said, you get $750,000. So do it on normal mode and then just grind it on hard mode once you've done that. But now that we've gotten $750,000 from that, we're gonna go over to our hangar. Now, this is just a regular hangar that I have. It's not anything too crazy. Now, if you don't know, the hangar actually got a pretty solid update about a year or so, I believe. They actually buffed the hangar. So while we wait for our Cayo Perico heist cooldown to come down even more, I think we have about an hour until that is done. So we're gonna be running up these hangar missions. Now, for me, when I do the hangar, and since I have an Oppressor Mark II, I go ahead and do the land missions every single time, and I just focus on 2 of them. So for this, I'm going to be doing medical supplies and narcotics, and just doing these over and over again. Now, if you don't have a hangar, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are probably familiar with the hangar at this point. It's been in the game for quite some time, but there's like 3 or 4 different missions, I believe, that you can get, and all of them should only take about 5 minutes to do on average, some even quicker. This one right here is the worst one that you can get, this submarine mission. It's a little bit annoying because you have to get in this submarine and then steal the medical supplies underwater. So this one can take around 10 minutes on average, but it's really honestly not that bad once you do it a couple times. And if you really don't want to do it, every time you see it pop up after you select the land mission and you see that one, you can just close app and then just restart another mission, and you'll likely get a different one. But like I said, it's really not that bad. So basically what we're doing right here is we're just running back, like I said, medical supplies, and now we're gonna do narcotics. Again, we're gonna do it on land every single time, and I'm just gonna keep running these back over and over again until we get that message that our Cayo Perico heist is able to be done yet again. So we're just gonna keep running these up. Again, if you have an Oppressor Mark II, it's very easy to do. All you have to do is fly over to these locations, and for this one, we just have to locate the generator, which again, with our Oppressor, is gonna be very easy to do. We can go ahead and shoot the generator, hop back on our Oppressor, and we can grab the narcotics and then head right on back to our hangar, and just in about 3 to 4 minutes, the mission is going to be done. Now, if you're still a little confused on the hangar, basically all we're doing is we're doing narcotics. like I said, and we're also doing medical supplies. We're doing those 2 missions, and they each take around 5 minutes to do, and we're just doing this until we get our Cryo Perico back. And then at the end of the video, we're going to be doing another big cell mission with our hangar. So we're pretty much just using the hangar as a little bit of a buffer in between the Cayo Perico heist cooldown. But again, it's going to get us a lot of money at the end of the video when we do our cell mission. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and try not to blow yourself up like I just did right there. It's really not hard to do to not blow yourself up, because if you ever get that mission right there, basically what I was doing is you can just shoot that cargo container so that you can just grab the medical supplies and fly back instead of having to drive a truck or whatever back to your hangar. So that's just a little tip right there. If you didn't know, just don't blow yourself up like I did. But like I said, we're just gonna keep doing this over and over again until we finally see that message pop up that says we are able to do our Cayo again. So we're just gonna keep sourcing narcotics and medical supplies, and there it is. Finally, we can go ahead and return to the planning screen in our Kosatka. So now that we've run up a couple of missions, I didn't show all of the missions that I did because again, they're pretty repetitive. You just get the same 3 or 4. But now that we're done at our hangar, we spent about an hour there just running up those missions. It's time to do our Cayo Perico again. Unfortunately, this time we do get the tequila. So yeah, that's kind of how I felt about that, but it's all good. We can't all get lucky and get the pink diamond every single time we do the Cayo Perico heist. But if you're wondering how long I've actually been on the game at this point, while I'm trying to get as much money as possible in one day, it's been around 4 hours so far on the account. We really had to wait a while for the Cayo Perico heist with that 2.5 hour cooldown, but so far we've only been on it for around 4 hours so far in one day, and you'll see just how much we've made after we're done doing this Cayo Perico heist. But there was one problem while I did this heist. As you can see in the bottom left right there, the guy sees me through a wall. It's good to see Rockstar still has this implemented in the game just to mess with us while we're trying to grind some money solo here, but it's all good. Luckily, I was able to escape without getting shot more than like once or twice. So if you ever get caught in the Cayo and don't feel like starting over again like I did right here, I was just trying to get it done and over with. I wasn't really worried about the elite challenge too much. That's why I didn't restart the heist. You see our take is still around $1 million right now, so I was cool with that. Losing out on a little bit of money, I really wasn't worried about it. We still walk away with a little bit of less than $1 million, so it's all good. Let's go ahead and see how much money we are at right now. And you see currently in the bank we are at $6.1 million, but roughly we have made around $3.5 million so far. And now we're gonna go ahead and run another Oscar Guzman for the second time, and this is the last big heist that we are doing before we get into our cell missions. If you don't know, this has about an hour cooldown, so obviously we completed this once, went ahead and did our Cayo, which takes about an hour, and now we were able to run it back again for another $750,000. So after another hour on the game, we're now up to $6.8 million. So roughly we've made a little over $4 million in just about 5 hours. Now that doesn't really sound like the best, but now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look for a really solid public lobby. And what a really solid public lobby looks like is a bunch of white dots on the screen. If you see a red X, or you see someone with a skull emoji, or you see some oppressors running around, do not do your cell missions in those lobbies. Make sure there's a bunch of white dots all over the screen so you can have a really solid chance of not having your cell missions get griefed. So now that we've located a pretty solid public lobby, I'm gonna go ahead and go over to our first passive business that we were working on, and that's gonna be the Acid Lab. Now, if you do the Acid Lab cell mission in an invite only lobby, so it's just you'll get around $350,000, which is pretty solid. But personally, I like to live on the edge a little bit, and it's really not even living on the edge. If you use your VIP abilities like the Ghost Organization while you do these cell missions, you should be able to knock them out pretty easily every single time. I've really never gotten griefed when I looked for a solid lobby, so it's definitely worth the extra 5 to 10 minutes looking for that good public lobby, because you definitely don't want to get griefed and lose everything on these cell missions, especially the big ones we're about to do. You definitely don't want to mess them up and miss out on like $1 million. But as you can see right here, we sell our Acid Lab and we only get 379,000, and that's because I think I did this in this lobby when like everybody left, so there was only like 5 people in there in total. I should have got like 500 to 530,000, but it's all good. We went back to our nightclub, collected a free 250K from our nightclub safe, so that was a big bonus to make up for what we lost in the acid lab. And now it is time to sell all of the goods within our nightclub, and it's going to be well over $1 million for this sell. So definitely, if you have a big sell like this, you want to have that good public lobby. And you'll see right here from the big bonus, this was a different lobby I believe I did this in, but it was easy. We used the ghost organization and delivered all the goods within our nightclub with ease to the buyer. And you see just how much we get, $1.26 million. So we got an extra like 266,000 for selling in a public lobby. So like I said, it's definitely worth it. And our total is up to $8.7 million. So we are running it up very, very quickly with all of these sell missions. And we're going to keep the sell missions going by heading back to our hangar. This is why in between, while we were waiting for our Cayo Perico heist to come back, we spent that little extra hour doing these missions, because now we have 360,000 in our hangar that we can go ahead again, do a land mission for. And again, we're going to be doing these in a public lobby. You see that guy just sped by me right there? I was a little bit worried that he might mess with me, but it's all good. I made sure I found a pretty solid lobby that nobody was really messing with anybody. Everyone was all chilling and being nice. So we went ahead, and this one can take around 10-15 minutes. All of the cell missions are around 10-15 minutes. And like I said, you definitely want to be in that good public lobby, because if you do a mission like this in a griefer lobby, it can be very, very tricky to do, and you definitely don't want to lose out on potentially like $500,000. So once we deliver this cargo, all we have to do is leave the area, and now we have got another extra $438,000 just by completing a little couple extra missions while we waited for our Cayo Perico heist to cool down. And at this point, I just went around to all of the businesses I have. I have a little salvage yard, so we got 27K from that. Now we're gonna head over to our garment factory, check the safe there, and we have $100,000 there. So we're just going around. Obviously, not everyone is gonna have all of these businesses, but this is just what I did on a single day. And as you can see from all of those safes and extra businesses we have, we pocket an extra $500,000. So now it's time to head to our bunker for one final sell mission. And I know I've been stressing that you should do these all in a public lobby, but for the bunker, personally, I think it's easier just to do it in a private lobby. I'm not sure if it's really worth the extra money you get, because these bunker missions are tough. Just because you have to drive all the way back from your bunker into the city, and then you have to drive all the way back or fly back on your oppressor, it can take around 15 to 20 minutes to do. So personally, I like to do these bunker missions in an invite only lobby, but maybe I'm just being a little bit of a baby and I should just go for it. Either way, I'm going to be getting close to $800,000 once this sell mission is done. So as you can see, I have to call for my oppressor and then fly all the way back. It's just a little bit of an annoying mission, honestly, and it's why I do it in an invite only lobby, because flying back and forth and driving back and forth to the city could definitely get the average person killed, especially on GTA 5 online. We all already know how that goes. So either way, once we're done with this final sell mission with our bunker, we're gonna pocket $777,000, and that's gonna wrap up our 1 day of grinding. All of the methods that I did, we hit $10 million in the bank, and that is how I made $7 million in 1 day grinding GTA 5 online. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you please drop a like, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and if you want to see a version of this where I don't utilize heist and businesses and all that, let me know down below in the comments. There's much simpler stuff that you can do to get money in GTA 5 online, but that's going to be it. I will see you guys all in the next one.